Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I would like to talk about student visas. Now, there's lots of issues with student visas, and we're probably not going to be able to get to all of the various issues in this particular episode, but at least I'd like to hit on some of the issues and let you know what can and can't be done and so forth. There's a lot of people who want to come into the United States on student visas, want to change status to student visas, and it really just depends on where it is that you're planning on going, what the issues are, and so forth. And so let's just get right down to it now. In order to apply for a student visa, first you need to find a school that will accept a non-immigrant student. And the way that they will accept a non-immigrant student is basically if they have a DSO, which is a designated school official, and they will issue an I-20. So if you call a school and you say, I'm a foreign student, I'd like to get an I-20, or I'd like to speak with a designated school official, and the person on the other end goes, what? Who's that, or what's that? Then chances are they don't accept non-immigrant students. Now, there is a publication put out by Immigration that will list all schools that are permitted to accept foreign students, and that changes over time. Some don't follow the regulations and they get dropped off. Others are new and they get added on. And so, you can email me and or call me. I'll be glad to give you the site to that particular publication. But in the regard of the I-20 itself, most of the time, the big schools will have can take foreign students. The many community colleges, you just call up and ask. It'll take 2 seconds. If they don't, just go to the next one. So there's some criteria that are needed in order to successfully apply for a student visa. One, that you have no intention of abandoning your foreign residence. So obviously, if you live in a foreign country, you sell your house, you sell your business, you pack everything up, and then you go and apply for a student visa, that obviously will not work. Okay, you need to have all kinds of stuff remaining in your home country when you apply, so that it is clear you don't intend on abandoning it. Keep your house, keep the residence, keep the business, keep part of your family there type thing. So that'll take care of that. Now, you also, what they look at is they look at what it is you want to study. Okay, they look at the subject matter, and if there is little opportunity in your home country for that particular field of study, then that also is going to go against your intent. Because why would you, for example, come to the U.S. and let's just say major in petroleum engineering, but when you look at your country, let's say your country has no positions or opportunities for petroleum engineers, so that will definitely kick into the consideration. Also, if there is not very good educational programs on the particular subject area in your country, and they're better in the U.S., but there's still opportunities for employment, that would work. So let's go back to the example again, and let's say that there's plenty of opportunities for good petroleum engineers in your country, but let's say your schools just don't happen to be that good as far as in the educational aspects of petroleum engineering. Let's say they don't have the modern courses or technology or techniques. Let's say the professors are not as well known. Certainly you can argue that you want to come to the U.S. to study petroleum engineering, so that you'll be more qualified and better able to handle the the actual job once you get to your home country. So that would deal with that. Now, um, there are other facts that you have to know as well. First of all, um, Again, it doesn't have to be just a four-year degree. It could be a community college, and later you could change it and so forth. But it has to be a bona fide student qualified to pursue a full course of study. Now, keep in mind that the the F1 is not for part-time study. While there are some exceptions to that, while you can request that the DSO, for example, for medical hardship or financial hardship, for example, decrease the number of hours from full to part-time, for all intents and purposes, you need to go full-time in which to have a successful F1, especially starting off. Um, there's also what's known as SEVIS, okay, SEVIS. Now, the institution that you will study at, which I previously said, there's a list of all institutions that are approved by immigration. Well, immigration in this case is not USCIS. Immigration is ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And there is a large tracking system of keeping track of who comes into the United States to study, the coursework that they study, that they're maintaining their status, also that their family is here, who in their family is here, what their status is, and so forth. And all of that needs to be recorded in SEVIS. And there's a specific fee for SEVIS and so forth, but that's how ICE keeps track of all of the goings about of the F1 students and making sure that they're in status. There's also lots of regulations that the school itself needs to comply with under SEVIS in order to make sure essentially that there's a good database, lots of information on everybody who's here and so forth. Now, some of the issues as far as what type of school you apply to, you cannot attend a public elementary or publicly funded adult education program or publicly funded secondary school and so forth if two things are not met. One, it can't be in excess of 12 months, and you will have to reimburse the school board for the full unsubsidized per capita cost of the education. Now, good luck trying to figure out exactly how much that is, but that's the law. So, if you do happen to come here to go to high school, okay, at a publicly funded high school, then you are going to have to reimburse for that cost. And I pretty much guarantee you when you ask the school district what the cost is, it's probably going to be a lot higher than you expect. To avoid those issues, honestly, go to a private high school or wait until you need to get into college, and then of course these issues don't exist. Now, the F2, the F2 is a derivative of the F1, meaning that your spouse and unmarried children under 21 are able to come here on an F2 pretty much by just proving the relationship that they have with you. Now, a couple things. An F2 cannot attend school on an F2. It needs to be changed, for example, to F1, or if they're going to work, it needs to be changed to, to like an H1B or an O1, whatever it is. Now, there is an exception for that. If you have a child, that child may go to school through the 12th grade on an F2, which is a good thing to know. So, if you're coming here to the United States to get a degree and you have a 10-year-old child who wants to come with you on an F2, you can come here, get your education, go to college, but then your child can also go to elementary school or middle school, whichever they happen to be in. And that is essentially how the F2 will work, and that's actually quite a nice exception for for being able to attend or not attend school, because a lot of people, when they come here, they absolutely want their children to be able to go to school and don't want them just sitting around playing with Legos all day. So those are the main issues. Now, there's other issues you need to submit with your F1 application in order to get it approved. I just want to make clear, some people think that you either go to a school or you apply and you pay the fees and get the I-20 and boom, you're in. Okay, there's no way you'll be denied, and that's not the case. If you were to just show up with an I-20 to the U.S. consulate for your interview appointment, it'll be denied in 3 seconds. Okay, you need to present all of the necessary evidence to show what I've discussed earlier, and also you need to submit other things. You need to show that there is sufficient financial support available for you so that it is unlikely that you will have to go to work in order to make ends meet. It is unlikely that you would become a public charge and violate your status. So you have to show that you have not only possession of funds, but availability of the funds. This means if you come from a country where you can't transfer things out, it doesn't matter that you have $1 million in an account, because if you can't get to it, you're not going to be able to show you're financially capable while inside the United States. Also, most of the time you'll have a sponsor, friend, family member, whatever, that will be able to allow you to also come. So that sponsor needs to also have the availability of funds in order to show you won't become a public charge. Next, you need to show you either are proficient in the English language or you will become proficient through training. So basically the school that you're going to will most likely have an entry-level English course to allow you to then go on to the actual substantive program. There is essentially an exception to that, and if the school can explain why English proficiency is not required, then you won't have to meet this particular requirement. Most of the time it is required, and it's just as an entry level to the actual program itself. Next, you have to show that you intend to depart the U.S. Well, how do you show that? I mean, you can't just say on a piece of paper, I intend to depart the U.S. when I'm done with my F1 studies. That just won't do. You do have to show all the ties you have in your home country. You have to show the reasons that you are going to go back. There needs to be declarations, affidavits, explanations, all kinds of stuff to meet that particular requirement. Okay, you have to have sufficient academic credentials to attend the institution. So if you're going to apply, for example, for a master's degree, and you have the I-20, you can't go there if you don't have a bachelor's generally. So you'll have to, of course, show that you do have the necessary bachelor's degree and so forth. Next, you need to maintain a full course of study, okay? And the full course of study it varies. It's basically whatever is full-time as designated by the school itself, but generally it's 4 classes at a normal institution, or 12 unit hours, and then they have different ways they can come upon the full course of study. But keep in mind, if you do go below the full course of study, you will not be able to maintain your F1 status, and you will go out of status. Okay, well, there's lots of other stuff to talk about on the F1, but I thought I would just do this more as an introductory type video to at least give you an idea of what they're looking for, what needs to be in the petition. And on the next F1, we'll go into quite a few more details as to other issues that exist. Okay, more in the coming videos.